All right, everybody, we're going to check out 4 very awesome and maybe one not so awesome IT website to get some inspiration and pick up a few things about designing IT websites. So I have here with me Rob Hatch, Chief Creative Officer at Digital Elevator, lead designer, and myself, Daniel LaFasso, CEO of Digital Elevator. So let's just dive right in. All right, folks, so today we're going to take a look at 3 sites and then a bonus 4th site that you don't want to miss because we're going to tear that one apart. The other 3 sites come from local, national, and corporate type ICs. Very different look and feel, and that's a big takeaway from what we're looking at. So we're just going to dive right in and start looking at these first sites.
All right. Yeah. So the very first thing I like about this site, A, we built it. B, we tried to make it trustworthy. And we did that by using an actual client in the photo. That's Taher. He's one of the main men over there at Alltech. Shout out to Taher. So we used a slim navigation, yet, just clean, simple. We use custom iconography throughout the site to help tell the story, whether it's in the navigation menu or throughout the site like you see here. And we use consistent imagery just to try to tell the story. You'll notice in the back of some of these elements, like that green element and that blue element right there, that there's just a tint of tech in there, as well as the photos that we're using, help just ground it as a technical website. So those are some of the things that we did just to keep it clean and simple.
Yeah, good continuity throughout the site with the color schemes and the iconography, very consistent, and then good mix of pictures for sure. I really like above the fold more from kind of the SEO conversion rate optimization perspective. Got the good use of the CTAs, multiple CTAs here. All the navigation is really easy to get to, which is big for SEO. We're just one click away here from that drop down mega menu, which is really great. And then the content depth of the site is really good for SEO in terms of meeting our goals for how much content we want to try to rank this site and this page. And one other little cool thing on this site is this live chat over here, which has really become a really great thing to have on websites nowadays. People want that instant feedback, so that helps accomplish that. So one quick thing that we did want to touch on just for this site is what's cool is a long form page. Like, we did a really good job, we think, of presenting a lot of information on a page, but not making it super overwhelming. And so this is just an example of, columns and pictures and H2s and, different headings and different color backdrops to break up what would normally be a very text heavy page. And it still is, but I mean, it's an example of how to present a page with a lot of content, which we thought was pretty cool. So now we're going to jump into a more of a national site. Alltech was more of a local site, and it had that kind of more local look and feel. And there's a different audience for a site like Electric, which actually serves a national client base. So what do you like about this site?
Man, the thing that I like most about it is it makes me want to go out and lift weights. I mean, there's a ton of energy in this site, and it's weird because you've got like pink. I mean, who would have thought pink would be a color for an IT website? But this is what they've done, and they've actually used these bold, bright colors, to their advantage. And then the lightning bolt, of course, it's tied straight into their logo, is a really cool design element that they use throughout the page. They've kept the navigation super simple as well, so it's easy to unpack and find out where you need to go. And then as you scroll down the site, you'll see these really cool animations that they use, and which are becoming more and more popular. Animations are something that help tell the story of Electric, and it's really pretty cool what they've done.
Yeah, they did a really good job with all that kind of progressive type web design. This is a site that is kind of on the forefront of what web design can be, and they had fun with it. I mean, of course, the brand name lends itself to a little bit of excitement, and I think they went with it. And with the pink, kind of like T-Mobile is a differentiator for sure, and it's well done, and it is really energizing, like you said. Social proof right here, which is really cool to do in the hero. That's something that I really like about this site. And then they have even job titles right here. They have the subtle CTAs with a watch video, or you can get a little light box that pops up, which is pretty cool. And then, there's other elements of social proof that we really like. I think I like this animated video, blends well. This is a really cool aspect of social proof with a testimonial and a brand that people would probably be familiar with, Mercari. And then one final thing that I want to highlight on this site is this Forrester commissioned white paper that they have right here, which is just another element of trust. It's not as fun as everything else on the site, but it really means like Electric, they're getting down to business with this thing. And this site's just bad to the bone. So well done with these guys. And here again is that paint contrasting for the footer, more social proof, and just awesome continuity through this site. So good on you, Electric. I got your thunder and your lightning right there, guys. All right, so we're moving on to our corporate pick for an IT site, VMware.com. So what do you think of this guy?
Man, they've kept it simple. That's the cool thing about what VMware's done, and they're such a large brand. They're able to do this. They tell their story through information and resources, and because they're thought leaders in the industry, they're able to do that. So they're not necessarily putting up price, and they're not putting up contact us. What they're doing is they're sharing a lot of information. Listen, the font is super clean on this site. I love the icons and the iconography that they've used. They use this simple gradient, and it's all comes from their logo and the branding guideline that was put together, but it's really clean, subtle gradients that I really like a lot. And then obviously, you have more resources down here at the bottom. And so again, they establish themselves as a thought leader because they're really promoting information. Eventually you will become a client just by the amount of information that they're providing as thought leaders in the industry.
Yeah, and I think that's an important takeaway because VMware being as big and corporate as they are, they can do something that perhaps the national site or the local sites can't. They just have that kind of built-in element of trust. You probably know who they are if you're landing on their site. You've probably heard of them before if you're considering them or their service suite. And corporate brands can get away with a lot of this stuff, whereas your national and local sites, they're going to say, hey, here's what we do right up front. Whereas this site's just like, hey, here's some cool stuff coming up. Like here's an event. They have this video here that's actually brand new. We just noticed this today. And then they just have these learning things, which is just like, boom, trust, learn something. What happens when you trust somebody, you're more willing to work with them, right? So that's aspects we just like of this whole brand presence altogether. They did a really good job with these massive mega menus. There's a lot of information here and it's really easy to get to. So we got to applaud them for that. And while there's a lot of CTAs here, they're not competing. It's just like they're nice and easy. It's not analysis paralysis as we see in this site that we're actually going to tear apart. So let's just dive into that thing. All right. So Drop Suite, it's more like drop the ball on web design. So let's just you first. Go ahead.
All right. So my daughter came running in the house last night and said, Dad, there's a huge spider. I mean, she's 17 years old, so she shouldn't be scared of spiders. But when I'm looking at this side, I'm wondering where the spider is because it looks like a spider web up there in the
right there.
Where's the spider? Again, it doesn't play well into a tech website. And like Dan mentioned, analysis paralysis, like what are we doing? We've got like 3 or 4 different CTAs going on here. One is about Microsoft and Google. The other is about learn about services. The other is about, here's why we're number 1. And the other one's about a whole different subject and like, keep it simple, keep going down a little bit. You'll just notice the same thing, a ton of text, which, might be good, but for a brand like Drop Suite, you would think that they wouldn't need to have this amount of text. And you just continue scrolling down the page and you've got a whole different look and feel of icons with a ton of text still. And so you've got these pretty cool icons up top, and then you move down to the second set. Man, it's just not working for me. So yeah, you've got down at the bottom, you've got just different elements to begin to fill up. But this section right here is just, it's not great as well. Maybe Dan, you can talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, we like the social proof and we like having partners listed on a site just to give that trust element, especially when you have partners like GoDaddy and just kind of household names that people are like, oh, you work with them, obviously you do good work, right? And it's like you might mention GoDaddy, but the rest of the site doesn't lead me to really trust this brand too much or say, oh, this is a big corporate brand and these guys are awesome. I mean, a lot of times, let's face it, website's the first place you go to check out a company and learn about them, and subconsciously, I just don't like it. And I think it's probably the same for a lot of people. And so for this, maybe we would have gone with maybe a gray, kind of tone it down. It's a little bit too contrasting for my liking, and then maybe make it scrollable or something, and just it's just a miss. But I think the site gets worse from there. I mean, there's so many different competing type of designs. It's not consistent like the other sites that we've seen. It's not cohesive, and that's a big miss, especially from a corporate partner. But this perhaps is the most amateur hour aspect of this site that they got to fix this. I mean, come on, Dropsuite. Clients have sent us these embedded forms. Yeah, cool. You want to integrate with your CRM for your sales team? Great. Yes, we're all doing that. But you got to stylize these things either with CSS, take a little bit of time, or get like a plugin or something and style these forms. It looks very obvious that this thing was just embedded. It's this afterthought that it was even part of the design team, and the design team should have pushed back on the marketing team and said, hey, let us design this thing for you so it's not embarrassing to the rest of the site. What the hell, what is this yellow? Like, there's no other yellow in this site everywhere. This is a massive fail, and I'm sorry, Dropsuite, you're a big awesome company and you guys should be doing a better job with this. And there's just too many things here that just don't work with modern web design. This section's actually pretty nice. I like that. I like that they use pictures, actual screenshots. Software companies should be using that kind of stuff. But the rest of the site, the mix up of graphic design, the icons, this analysis paralysis, word heaviness, and a site this big doesn't need to have this many words. The local SEO does need the SEO. These guys have brand authority. They don't need all that. And it's not that every element is bad in and of itself, but together they're bad. It lacks cohesion, and we just don't like it. So that's it. That's the lesson for today. A couple of sites to draw inspiration from, and one site to not draw inspiration from. So thanks for tuning in. Let us know if you want to hear us dissect a different industry. Peace out.
Yeah. Bye, guys.